all about winning moments, and that is former Bafana striker Mark Williams. A very good evening to you, Mark, and welcome to Sport on Full View.
Well, good evening to you, and thank you for having me on the show.
All right, so the big talking point is definitely the weekend, the Netbank Cup. Defending champions Maruma Gallants up against a side, Mamelodi Sundowns, that are looking to make it a treble this weekend. Just looking at Maruma Gallants, what can we expect from the side this weekend?
Well, I have to tell you, both of these teams, they're not there by fluke. They are there because of performance. They deserve, both of these teams deserve to be there. Maruma Gallants, you look at them and you ask yourself, well, you play against a team that has won the league for 5 years, which is Sundowns. But then, at the end of it, it's one game. It's only one game that you need to win to get that trophy. And I think the coach, Dan, he's got the experience. He knows how to deal with players, what their course is for Saturday when they play against champions like Sundowns.
But I mean, Mark, we talk about a Sundowns team in the last 3 matches of the DStv Premiership that conceded 6 goals, something that is really unthinkable of them. So should they also be worried about their defensive structure going into such a momentous final?
Yeah, look, I don't think Sundowns is taking that lightly. We spoke about the coach spoke today. He told the players that, they must be transparent. They must have sort of more respect for this team that they're playing against, because they are not there by fluke. They're there because they deserve it. But at the end of the day, you look at the Sundowns team, they got a team on paper that can compete in any way, and they've done well in the AFCON Cup. So the experience, but how do you motivate a team like Sundowns to play against a smaller team? On Saturdays, there's no small teams. It's 11 against 11. And what would be the difference is making the subs that wants to come on and be counted, because I think that what Dan had that experience of playing and making sure, also at Sundowns, Dan, the coach of Marua, he was a coach there, he won some trophies, so he knows what it is, and that's all you want to say with players, telling them, listen here, go out there and enjoy the occasion, because it's all about you. And I think Dan is, he can't wait for the game.
Absolutely. And we know in terms of Sundowns, their last match, they had rested a couple of players. They had told the media, though, that it was due to a flu outbreak, So was that a strategy on their end, or should we be worried about the health of their most important players?
You know what, you make me laugh, because a lot of coaches sometimes always come with excuses. But I also had a little bit of flu about 2 days ago, but it's gone now, Maybe it's about resting, just getting the player's mind to sort of understand what he wants them to do. And, coaches are going to come with all different sort of tactics to not give their strength out and say, well, players had a bit of flu. And, if it is true, did he raise the players because he wants to get them ready for the finals, and making sure that, the players that they raise, that they're going to play on Saturday, and you ask yourself, well, did it work for Sundowns? But look, at the end of the day, Sundowns got 20, 23, 25, 26, 28 good players that can play in any team in South Africa.
Absolutely. The depth of that team is admirable. And I want us now to shift focus a bit to the Bafana announcement, the 23-man squad that was announced today. Your thoughts on what Coach Hugo Bross brought to the table?
Look, to be honest with you, I've watched the first game that he played in the qualifiers, the second game, when he gave certain players opportunities. Then he took the more experienced team, and we got hammered against France. But look, at the end of the day, like he said, it's a sort of progress that he's going through. He wants to see what he's got in his hands. Now that he's seen from the amateur teams, the guys that plays in South Africa and international, now he must put them together. So I will only judge when he puts the 2 teams together, the guys that played locally and the guys that plays international. When he puts the 2 teams together, that's the only time I can say certain things about his vision, what I can pick up about the coach.
And you know, when you talk about those combinations, we know for a nation like the Ivory Coast, of course they have qualified automatically, but they have still chosen to play those qualifiers to make sure that they are match fit and ready. Do you think that it was a good idea for South Africa to not approach Zimbabwe, for instance, and say, let's have some of those matches, even though you will not be a part of Group K, but just to get that match fitness and make sure that we are getting our combinations set?
I think what is very important here, especially when you talk about the national team, is to make sure that you give the players all the experience that they've got and let them play against big teams. Because, we always go back and say, 26 years ago, we won the AFCON Cup, but this and that. But you know what? It's going forward. And how do we go forward? Is by let players play with the best teams in the world, not just locally here, Zambia, Zimbabwe, our neighbors, let them play against France, let them lose, let them know what it is. Because I remember when we played, people used to call us 4x4s because Zambia hit us 4-0, Nigeria hit us 4-0. But we learned when we played against a team like Germany, we drew, Argentina, we drew, at Brazil, we're losing 2-0. And that's what we need. We need them to gain. But also one thing that we're lacking is players playing in the top leagues in Europe. Because when you play in those top leagues, you bring that experience back into the national team. You got a solid team, and that's what we're lacking, what I see.
Sure. Now we have to move to the announcement that was made today in terms of the Kaizer Chiefs camp. They have given Arthur Zwane a 3-year contract. Of course, he was there on an interim basis. He did well as the interim coach, and now given this bigger responsibility, is this a good decision on Kaizer Chiefs' part? Are they a team that can now compete for silverware next season?
Look, Arthur's got the experience. I think he came, he was a coach assistant coach with Gavin Hunt. And I just think it's fair, to be honest with you, because we're always looking to get international. He's got the experience as being assistant coach. He knows the place, he knows the culture. I just think sometimes when I look at him, the message he brings across, because Kaizer Chiefs is not a small team. It is a big team, and they need to compete with the likes of Sundowns, to make sure that they can bring silverware. It's not going to be easy, but I think that he played for Chiefs, so he knows the philosophy. Chiefs is a big team, and if you don't get the results, you're not going to be sitting there and thinking that the 3 years is going to work. I think a lot of times, we see it in England also. When they gave certain coaches an opportunity to coach for the big teams and didn't have success. But look, it is opportunity where he can showcase and bring the culture that people want to come to the stadiums, because, I played for Chiefs. It's a wonderful club to play with. The fans are there. People love it. So, he must just make sure he gets the right people surround him, get assistant coaches, get technical staff, get striker coaches, and making sure he's got the right team. Because if you're going to think you're going to do it on your own at a team like Kaizer Chiefs, there's no ways. You are bound to fall down. You have to make sure you get the right team around you to understand what your vision is and taking it to the players.
Oh, that is absolutely profound. And of course, we cannot chat football and not talk about Pitso Mosimane. Of course, his team, Ahly, in the final on Monday against Wydad. There was that controversy with the venue that is going to be staged in Morocco. But do you believe that Jingles has what it takes to add on to the accolades that he already has amassed on the African continent?
First of all, congratulations on Coach Pitso. I've always told people the story, but one day he said it to me. We both actually fought for one position in Bafana 94. And, he said to me, Mark, it's because of you I became a coach. Because he played first, I came in, and then, of course, I took his position, and he made a decision that, well done to Coach Pitso. He's taking that flag up high. In Africa, and I'm happy for him, and other coaches should do the same. Travel, go and get that experience and bring it back to the national team. But at the end of the day, Ahly is not a small team, it is a big team. But if you just look back, the only team that beat him twice last year or this year was his ex-team Sundowns. So it's quite interesting how football works out.
All right, so you do believe he's got what it takes to beat Wydad?
Yeah, no, definitely. He's got the place, he's got the material. They always say you as good as what you got. And unfortunately, I think Picho has got the best players there at Ahly. You know, it's the same thing. Like we can talk about the Netbank, you know, what they have been doing, but you know, just well done for him in the past of going so far and keeping that flag up. And yeah, look, we just praise him and he must keep it up.
And we're now out of time, but just a quick prediction from you. Who is walking away the Netbank Cup champions on Saturday? Maruma Gallants or Sundowns?
That's quite interesting. You know, you talk about who's going to walk away because they don't have enough time. But what Netbank is putting together, you know, one of the most expensive tournaments in South Africa. The winners get 7 million plus a 2 million sort of international sort of training ground where they can allocate it to the school. So you want me to tell you live who's going to win it?
Please do.
Well, there's only one team. And that is Maruma Gallants that's going to take the trophy.
Wow. Big prediction there. Thank you so much, Mark Williams. What a prediction. He says that Maruma Gallants are going to walk away Netbank Cup champions. We'll see whether that will happen on Saturday when they face Mamelodi Sundowns. The action is kicking off at 6 p.m. and, of course, will be broadcast on all our SABC Sport channels. That's where we'll leave it for now.